All right, so I titled this What to Do When Your Family Don't Like You Keeping the Covenants. But it's family and it's friends and it's people in general. Because it's not so much a question I get, but I always hear people who are starting to wake up. There's actually one woman in particular who has been, I guess, found my YouTube channel, and she's asking good questions in the comments, and she comes from a Catholic family, and she's worried about how they're gonna take to her waking up. Even my own wife is going through this right now, and there's a lot of prophecy that talks about exactly this. This idea. Well, it's not an idea. I shouldn't say that. This truth that he'll take one from a city and two from a family. So I just wanted to make this will be a quick video, and it's really, I'm not trying to tickle anyone's ears, but it will really it should encourage you to hear what's actually written about people who lose family, houses, daughters-in-laws, mothers-in-laws, whoever, for his name's sake. Yeshua actually tells you to rejoice and be exceeding glad. But there's also, how can I put it? It's not rules, but there's so what you can't do, so it's for his namesake, right? So what you can't do is go and deliberately provoke family members and people with outlandish things just to tick a box and say, yeah, look, it's kind of like what the Christians do with the Beatitudes, right? Like, oh, that guy called me a mean name, blessed am I. Well, no, that's for his name's sake. So you have to be in the truth. That's the first thing. And then it's just going to happen. Now, actually, before I talk on it, we should read the scriptures. Can you grab my Bible, please? So we'll start in Matthew 10, and then you'll see it again in Luke. And then there's another thing I want to quickly mention in Matthew 19. Do you want to actually just do the reading? Okay, so Kiana here is going to do the reading. Do you want the camera on you when you read, or are you happy to just be... Okay. So go to Matthew 10 first, and it's sort of near the end of the chapter. You'll see it. Yeah, but start... I would say start right there at 33.
But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
So keep going.
Are you mocking?
I'm not mocking it. I just thought it'd be funny to read along.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his
staff. The word staff in the Strongs.
And followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Because you just got to think like this. You use the Strong's Concordance. One of the definitions of that Greek word translated as cross is staff. He's the shepherd, right? Like Aaron's rods in the ark. Is he going to say, pick up your Roman pagan cross and follow me? I think not, right? So you just got to be aware of the lion pen of the scribes sometimes. Sorry, continue.
He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophetess reward, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
So praise God for that little bit at the end. But, yes, so he's not come to send peace but a sword. He's going to set man at variance against his daughters and his mother-in-law and all these people, right? So, and the reason this happens is because many are called but few are chosen, right? So chances are you wake up to the truth. Oh, okay, I can't go out on Saturdays anymore. I'm not going to go out to dinner. I'm not going to eat pork anymore. Maybe you're a kid and you got to tell your mum, I'm not eating pork anymore when you cook up pork. Maybe because there's 2 covenants of promise to keep, right? And the ones to Noah, it's the rainbow covenant, I call it, eating clean and not touching blood. And then the other one's the holy covenant. That's actually what it's called by Zacharias in Luke 1, and it's the 10 commandments. Yeah, well, we'll read that too. But you're going to have this, Now, it's not to say everyone's going to go through this. There's, I know of families personally that, this hasn't happened to them. But it happens a lot, and I see it a lot. And what you need to understand is that, did he say rejoice and be exceeding glad there in Matthew 10? I think he did. Or is that not at that part? No? Okay, then now we'll go to Luke 18. Oh, hey, Vihan.
Screaming. Ari, no.
Wait.
Stop it. Sorry.
It's all right.
Ari.
Ari!
Stop. Come.
Luke 18. Okay, start at verse 28.
To the end.
Yeah. I'll stop here when I need to stop here. Yes, sorry. Go.
Then Peter said, Lo, we have left all and followed thee. And he said unto them, Verily I say unto you, there is no man that hath left house, or parents, or brethren, or wife, or children, for the kingdom of God's sake, who shall not receive manifold more in this present time, and in the world to come life everlasting. Then he took unto him the 12, and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and all things that are written by the prophets concerning the Son of Man shall be accomplished. For he shall be delivered unto the Gentiles, and shall be mocked, and spitefully entreated, and spitted on. And they shall scourge him, and put him to death. And the 3rd day he shall rise again.
Okay, you can stop there probably. So, there's not one man who's left his, did it say left? Is that the right word? Anyway, you just heard it. There's not one man that's had this happen to him, mankind, who's left his family for the kingdom's sake, key part, for the kingdom's sake, that won't receive manifold more in the kingdom of heaven. So this pairs with Matthew's account in Matthew 19, that this manifold more is actually 100-fold. So, but it has to be for the kingdom's sake. Now there's rules. And even Paul knew this, better than anyone. He met Yeshua. He was a disciple, right? And Paul says, if you're an unbelieving wife or an unbelieving husband, you don't if you're a believer and you've got an unbelieving wife or husband, you don't leave them just because they're not keeping the covenants, because you sanctify them through being with them, and your children are included in that promise too. So you can't leave for any cause other than adultery. As long as they're happy to dwell with you, you let them dwell. If they want to leave, though, you're not in any sin. You've been called to peace. So it has to be for the kingdom's sake. Now, this won't be you, like most cases, this isn't you leaving, running away from home, or, I'm going to cut contact with my dad, or it's not like that. It's they leave you. That's what it is. That's how it's going to play out. And you're going to receive the manifold back. So in Matthew 19, can you start flicking to Matthew 19? In Matthew 19, he says you get them back 100-fold. So I see promises like that, and I think, my hope is that it is whoever you lost, you get them back, and like 99 more souls just for your sake, because anyone that's leaving family for the kingdom's sake is a servant of God. So then that promise in Isaiah 65:8, like that one says, oh, there's a bit of good wine here in the cluster, don't destroy it all. So will I do for my servant's sake. So you're going to get this family member back plus 100 more, and who knows? Maybe who knows how far God's grace extends. I'm not gonna number the people like David did, but I have hope that it's a lot of people. And it's in Matthew 19. It's just really a couple verses. You might be able to find it. Is it sort of? I think it's more near the end. So this is just gonna be a quick video, and see this guy in the chat, Dolan. Vihan is right. Peculiar people is right. Love your neighbor means to rebuke sin. So what he's doing right now to you is actually loving you.
What did they say?
He's just it doesn't really matter. If we paid too much attention to the comments, then it doesn't. When people watch the replay, they don't really get it. So do you have Matthew 19 ready? Did you find it? The verse I'm talking about? It says like 100-fold.
It's near the end. It's on this page.
Oh, yep, right here. So, 28, and Yeshua said unto him, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that has forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. So, yep.
But earlier you said that they have to leave you, but this says that you can forsake them.
Well, no, even in Luke 18, it said anyone that's left them. So that in English implies you leave them. But the only reason that you would ever forsake brothers, sisters, mothers, daughters, fathers is because they're doing exactly what they're doing to you right now. It's not like you're not going to fulfill the royal law in your own family, because if you can't do that, you're worse than an infidel, it says. Like, it's not like this isn't giving you free reign to just go and leave your family because you're pissed off they're not keeping the covenants. This is saying, this is because do you know what it is? It's because he's quoting Micah 7. That's your answer. In Matthew 10, he's quoting Micah 7. So we should go to Micah 7. And Micah 7 makes no doubt it's not the servant's fault. It's the other people's fault, so to speak. What?
I don't know where Mike is at.
I'll just look at the contents. Eight, 6, 1. So Yeshua is directly quoting this in Micah 7, and then Micah 7 takes you to Ezekiel 24. So don't know if we will.
Micah 7 what?
It starts with like, trust not in a friend, put not confidence in.
Yeah, trust ye not in a friend, but put ye confidence in a guide. Keep the doors.
Oh, but actually start from verse 4 and read it loud.
The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge.
So briars and thorns. The best of them is a briar, and the most upright sharper than a thorn.
The day of thy watchman and thy visitation cometh. Now shall be their perplexity. Trust ye not in a friend, but put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoureth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house.
Yeah, and then it goes right into like, and then what happens? Therefore I'll look unto the Lord, and I will wait for the God of my salvation, which goes hand in hand with watching. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. I will bear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned. Because I have sinned against him. And then trodden under the might, and then trodden underfoot. Like, this is all Revelation 12 talk. This is like the way that these guys who have their family, or these guys that have their family forsake them, the way that they bear the indignation of the Lord is when they because their righteousness is of him. In Isaiah 54, they get caught up to the throne, And then they return and, because vengeance is mine, says the Lord, but he executes it through his 144,000. And what else is there on this topic? Because I'm trying to stay on point, Matthew 10, Luke 18, Matthew 19, Micah 7. People could read Ezekiel 24 and make the connection, but I will try to stay more on.
Psalm 16.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to read that one? Good point. So there was a place, it must have said it in Matthew 10 where he's talking about this and he says, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, or something like that. I mean, it's the Beatitudes as well. The Beatitudes tie into this for sure.
Yeah, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. So mourning their family.
Yeah, it's wrapped up in there, but mourning is described in Ecclesiastes 7, and it's all about it's better to go to the house of the mourning than the house of feasting. And then where do they get comforted? As a mother comforts his son, so will I comfort you in New Jerusalem, and that's Isaiah 66, which is again all about not doing the feasts. So there's the Beatitudes actually go a bit deeper, but yeah, like it's for sure wrapped up in there, If the people watching just do a Bible search for rejoice, be exceeding glad, KJV, it will come up. I know it's in there somewhere and it's talking about this thing. We might have just read it in Matthew 10 and I just didn't pay attention enough to hear it. But so anyway, you just don't take my word for it. Find it, what I'm talking about. But Yeshua does tell you to actually rejoice when this happens to you. Now, look, he knows it's like when God chastises you. It doesn't seem joyous in the present, but the fruits, but it yields the peaceable fruits of righteousness, right? Because it is a form of chastisement when God does this to you. And, you'll read more, and that's how he loves you. You'll read about that in Hebrews 12, to one of the churches in Revelation 3, in Deuteronomy 8, once he's just got done telling you how you love him, he tells you how he loves you back by chastising you, rebuking you. It's even in the Proverbs. I think it's like Proverbs 2 or 3. So even then, you're supposed to like lift up your knees and rejoice, because it means that you're a son of God and not a bastard. So like if this is happening to you, you're meant to be happy. Now he knows it's not joyous in the present, but what he's doing is he's trying to encourage you, basically. Like if this is, I mean, not one man that this has happened to won't go to the kingdom of heaven. So, there you go. Put it that way. Where are you looking for that, Psalm? Matthew 5:12. Yeah, I thought it was in another place too, though, Ray. I thought it was.
That's it.
Yeah, but maybe I'm getting confused. I'm pretty sure it was in one of these places where he's talking about family and stuff, but read it anyway, Matthew 5. So this is just after the Beatitudes, but this is like the last one. Yeah, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Yeah, and remember, Yeshua just got done saying this message, and then he went and he got spat on and by all that. So if they did it to him, they'll do it to you. He's the first begotten son, right? The King of Kings. But I thought it was in another place. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just getting confused. But the Beatitudes go a little deeper, and what I'll do is I'll try to link a video that we did. Me, Mark, Matthew, and Meg on this. It's called Beatitudes versus the Feasts, and there's even a lot more to it. They're quoting a whole bunch of stuff in the Psalms and Isaiah 66. You want to read that Psalm 69, and then they'd probably do it, unless you got something to say to the woman. You want to testify or something?
Okay. You want me to read the whole thing?
Well, you were the one that wanted to go there.
Oh, okay. We don't have to read it.
No, I mean, I just don't know what you're saying. You read it. Read the whole thing. It's only short, right? Oh, no, it's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay. It's just about how he'll comfort your soul and the people who come up against you. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully or mighty, then I have restored for which I look not away. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, bang on. And like, if your enemies are them of your own house, well, yeah,
And they hate you for not a cause.
yeah, which is murdering in your heart, right? And then it goes right into when I wept and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment. I became a proverb to them. They that sit in the gates speak against me. I was the song of the drunkards, which is the drunkards of Ephraim. And the being the song of the drunkards would be from Ezekiel 33, verse 30 to 33, where he tells you, like, to the Ezekiel watchmen who are running around in these end days. It wasn't just Ezekiel, because then Yeshua quotes it in Mark 13. He says, what I say unto the porter who stands in the gate, I say unto all, watch. And he's referencing Ezekiel 2 and 3. This is the calling, right? Watch ye therefore, and the day of the Lord won't come like a thief in the night to you. So how could it just be to Ezekiel? You know, obviously it's to these people who are going to be there in the day of the Lord. So, and it says there in Ezekiel 33, they're going to sit at your feet and hear your words, but do them not. And you're a lovely song to them, as one that plays well on a harp or something. And they sit before your feet and hear your words, but they do them not. And they're even going to say, come, let's hear the word from the Lord. Like, and it's a sarcastic tone. You can tell from Ezekiel 33, verse 30 to 33. Oh, let's hear the word of the Lord. And they sit there and they hear, but they don't do anything. And then they're like mocking you. And then, but when this comes to pass, and this is the sixth seal popping off, because it's the whole of chapter 33, lo, it shall come, then they will know a prophet was in their midst. Now, don't see, the Christians always, maybe some more people in the Torah movement understand this, but the Christians, at least, they like to hang you, make you an offender for a word, even though you're just quoting scripture to them. And the prophets, don't get me wrong, were until John the Baptist. But a prophet being in your midst means someone with the spirit of prophecy, which from Revelation 19:10 is the testimony of Yeshua, was in your midst. So someone who was entering into the work of the prophets and reaping what they didn't sow, so that together they could rejoice, it was in your midst, right? Like the disciples were prophets. They were all prophesying. The apostles were prophesying, right? Paul even tells you that you can prophesy, and all it is just speaking plainly to the church and the lost sheep of the house of Israel, wherever they may be, trying to get them to wake up, and you explain yourself and you speak plainly. That's what prophesying is. And he quotes, when he's talking about speaking in tongues, he quotes Isaiah 28 like 3 times. With a stammering lip and another tongue will he speak to these people. The stammering lip, he references it. So the speaking in tongues is when you're talking, and that edifies. He doesn't condemn it. That's edifying between the brothers, but he says, I would prefer that you prophesy, because that's just speaking plainly, and that edifies the church. So speaking in tongues is like, if I'm talking to a brother, we don't need to quote chapter and verse all the time to one another, because I can say, watch ye therefore, boom, and my brother knows exactly what I'm talking about. And, the conversation gets quite deep, I guess is the word. And, to a bystander, it would sound like a stammering lip, but we know perfectly what each other's saying. It's not some baby talk. It's just this, that's the real deeper speech, but it's not, but at any point you could be stopped and then start prophesying instead and explain yourself plainly. It just takes longer. All right. So that's all that is. Anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent. So if this happens to you, jump for joy, really. It's like when the whoever it was there in Acts, I kind of forget, like Acts can sometimes be a bit of a blur to me, like the timeline, but they're in the prison and they or whatever, they're getting persecuted, and then they leave and they're like jumping for joy that they were counted worthy to suffer for God, like that you would even be worthy to go through this prophecy is like, it's a huge thing. So be very, very happy if you can, and just keep your nose in the book and keep understanding, reading and learning prophecy, and covet to prophesy, because you will understand, oh, I get it. And then you just have to have this faith, like, that his promises are true. and that, you know, you will get them back and many more people. So just become a servant, because so long as you're a servant, then you can partake in Isaiah 65:8. If you're not a servant and you go through that great tribulation, then Ezekiel 14 applies to you, and you could be even as righteous and faithful as Noah, Daniel, and Job once you're in there, but you can only save your own soul when he sends the four sword judgments and the noisome pestilence and stuff. So that's that. Love you guys.